Today we'll learn how to color correct in Photoshop. This is AndregDesigns. Hey guys, my name is Andre and this is AndregDesigns. And if you've been watching my videos, even just the later ones, you'll notice that this is a video tutorial I've already covered, but I wanted to recover it just to put out a better video than what I already had. So let's get started in this one. Hey guys, so we're here in Photoshop and this is a photo I took for my photography class. So let's just get started here. If we unlock the layer, we go filter, convert to smart filters. I always like making my stuff smart filters because then it saves you from destroying your photos, and it lets you go back steps without having to take too many steps backwards. If we go camera raw filter, it'll open up. So just right away there's the color correcting elements, and if yours doesn't start here, it's just the one with the shutter and it's called basic. So I'm just gonna turn up the temperature a little bit. Just kind of put it where you like. For every image it's going to be different, and then I'm actually going to bump up the tint a little bit. That looks great. And then for this image specifically, I'm going to want to put up the highlights and the contrast. I want to put up the contrast to save some of the shadows and the highlights because I'm going for kind of a blown out background style. If you just hit OK, it'll add the color correction to the photo. So now if we duplicate this by pressing Ctrl J or Command J, depending on whether you're on PC or Mac, Command being on Mac, you can duplicate that file, and I just duplicate it 3 times because I'm going to put 3 different lens flares on this. So I'm going to start at the bottom and turn off the top 2. So you can't see the top 2, you can see the bottom one out of the copies. And then if we just go filter, render, lens flares, it'll bring up this panel where you can make some lens flares. And for different images, it's going to make more sense to put it in different spots. In this case, it makes most sense to put it in the top left spot. So I'm actually gonna bump up the brightness a lot more than it needs to be, and just because I already know what I'm going for, I'm just gonna be doing these top 3, or no, the top 2 in the movie premiere. You just press OK. And then you go to the next one up, turn it on, and this is why I turned it off before, is because if you have it on you can't see what you're doing. So if I just click filter lens flare, if you already did the lens flare, it's going to be at the top there, and then I'm just going to click the next one down, press OK because it's already at a pretty bright spot, and I'm making it more dramatic than it needs to be on purpose, and you'll see why in a second. So if I click onto movie premiere, these different lens flares are based off of what lens it's trying to act like. So if I just turn down the opacity, it'll show the lens flare from below, because that's the only thing changing in these top 3 layers. So I'm just gonna go and lower these to what I'm liking. I'm saying for all of them it's around 30 to 50, and it's gonna change depending on what you want for each lens flare. So now we've got the lens flares and the color correction down. We're gonna do the last thing here, which is creating a new layer. If you press F5 on Windows and Mac, it'll bring up your brush presets, or you can go Window, brush presets. And here I'm going to press B to get my brush tool, and then I'm gonna turn on some settings. So I'm gonna turn on the scattering and shape dynamics. I'm gonna grab a brush tool that's fairly harder and just make sure the hardness is at 100%. I'm gonna make sure that the spacing is put up more, and I'm gonna go shape dynamics, change the jitter to 100%, and move the scattering. Make sure to click both axes. So if you want more of these dots to show up, then just turn down the scatter. I'm gonna press OK, and now use the bracket keys to size up my brush. Here we go. And I'm just gonna want to make sure that it's white. So I'm just gonna do a couple of these bigger ones, make a new layer, make sure I'm on the new layer, and size down my brush with the left bracket key, and do some smaller ones. So quick little thing, I didn't do these small enough to my liking, so I'm actually just going to, instead of redoing all of this, I'm going to press Command T and size those ones down. It's not showing up how I would like it, so I'm actually going to redo that, but it is a way to avoid redoing things. And just kind of testing out here to see if I'm able to get what I want. I'm press F5 again and make sure that my spacing is all the way up so that I can get the most spacing for this effect. Alright, so I'm pretty much there. Now I'm gonna make 2 more layers, one in between each of these with the dots. Now I'm gonna go pick out the color I want. It can be really any color, but for this specific one I'm doing this kind of orangey yellow, and I'm just gonna fill the whole frame with it on both of them. Alright. And a neat little trick is if you hold Alt or Option, depending on whether you're on Windows or Mac, and go between 2 layers, you can clip the top layer to the bottom layer. Almost like doing it with an adjustment layer. And now I'm just going to take these yellow ones and kind of mess with the opacity so that it's not so strong, but it's kind of there. Alright, so I'm going to go to my first dot and click Filter, Convert to Smart Objects, press OK. So now I'm going to go to Blur, Gaussian Blur, and what this is going to do is actually feather out the dots. And the reason we didn't just have a soft brush at first is because, one, it gives it a little bit of a different effect. 2, because this way we can have more control over it. So I like it there at 47.2. And then I'm going to do the same thing with layer 2, which is the second layer with dots, the smaller dots. And just making sure it's in Smart Filters. So now we're just gonna go up to Filter, Gaussian Blur, and I'm just gonna lower it down a little bit. Since there's smaller dots, the higher radius is gonna make them way too blurred. So if you just bring it down a little bit, that would be fine. Press OK. Okay, now we can go to our layer and put blending mode on it, and I'm just gonna do soft light because overlay isn't working right now. So for this exact image, I'm just gonna go with soft light. And now if you make sure to click on the masking, then you can get rid of some of those dots that are just interfering with the actual image itself. So I hope you liked this video, and it would really help if you just put a thumbs up or a comment. If you put a comment for what's next, that would help a lot, and who knows, that might be the next video I do. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.